Happy Friday, LREA members. It's your president, Teresa Knapp Gordon, coming today to talk to you about our current situation and the new changes that the district has implemented and how we all move forward. You'll see in the know today that I addressed some of the concerns that I've been receiving about the new changes, and I hope that helps you navigate through this. First and foremost, I want to say that I don't necessarily agree with the changes. I don't personally think that Edmentum is the answer to providing instruction to our students for the remainder of the year. I'm not happy about it for my own child. So I do understand the concerns of all of you and of parents. And I have probably more knowledge of Edmentum than the average parent. But like most of you, I'm not happy, and I am voicing my concerns to the superintendent. Unfortunately, the decision was made without the input of you and I, and it's not ever a good thing when a decision is made at the top and then pushed down to the people who are expected to carry out that decision. And that is not how we have ever worked in Little Rock School District. So I am disappointed in that, to say the least. However, I will continue to advocate and support as much as I can in my position. I encourage you to utilize the information that was shared in the know today about how to contact and who to contact with your concerns. It is my understanding that we still have several staff members who do not have devices, laptops or iPads or whatever they need to do the work at home, and some of our employees live in areas where they may not have internet service, and that's a problem. You cannot deliver AMI if you cannot access the internet. Some of you have real concerns about using your cell phone, your personal cell phone, to contact parents and students. I understand that concern. There are other ways to contact parents and students. What I don't want to see happen is what some of my colleagues in other parts of the state are telling me, and that is that you all are required to go to the school and sit up there from 8:30 to 3:30 to answer the phone should a parent or student call. And that is happening in other parts of our state, which is against social distancing, and I believe violates the whole closing down the schools order. Right now we are all living in uncertain times. We are every day being inundated with news about how many new cases there are, and how many people have died from this, and how many people are expected to die from this, and whether to wear a mask, whether not to wear a mask, wash your hands or use sanitizer, spray your shoes or don't spray your shoes. I mean, there's all this information coming at us about this disease that is killing people, and it causes trauma to us and to our students and to our families. And our students, first thing they do when they hear something, instead of asking us, they generally will go and Google. And we all know that is not the best thing to do, but our students do that just like we do when we find out we've got something or might potentially have something, and they're scared, they're afraid. And I think the worst thing to do right now is to cut off relationships with educators that these students have built relationships with, sometimes over several years, in the midst of this crisis, because it's traumatic to them. And we are already isolating ourselves at home, which is traumatic, because we are not in our normal routine. We're not talking to our students and hugging our students and seeing our colleagues and all of that we're used to. We're already having lots of disruptions, and to add this disruption and to remove those people from our students' lives is definitely going to be traumatic for those students. And so I encourage you, and specialists, I'm talking to you right now, the elective teachers, maintain that contact with your students. Don't give that contact up. Maintain those relationships with your students. They need that right now. And so do you, quite frankly. This whole idea that you're going to continue to serve by being basically a teacher's aide to a core teacher is disrespectful to your craft, and it's just unconscionable, and it saddens me to think and to see that that is the way it was put out. And I've heard all day long about the challenges with the Edmentum training and with the It's Learning training, and those dings that you hear are messages that are being sent as I'm doing this video. So you see that it's coming constantly. All I can tell you is I'm pushing back hard. And we all know that It's Learning and Edmentum are not the quality of instruction that we want to deliver. And I encourage you to send messages. I encourage you to share your frustrations with the people who made these decisions. And I included their contact information in the know. I know sometimes parents watch this. I encourage parents to share their concerns about this change with Mr. Poore. I know that many of you are reporting that your emails are full and you can't keep them cleaned out fast enough to keep them from blocking messages because they're full. I encourage you to contact the IT department, contact John Ruffins, contact Chris Prowse, let them know that you need more email space because you're working remotely. You would think that these are things that don't have to be shared, don't have to be asked for. But I will say this too. We are all living and learning, and we're all trying to do the best we can in the most crazy of circumstances. And what I'm going to say to you is that you are the professionals. You know your kids. You know what your kids need. Maintain those relationships. Maintain those contacts. I don't know what to tell you about contacting kids that you can't get a hold of or parents that you can't get a hold of, because we're not going to people's houses. It's just not going to happen. I want you all to stay safe and healthy. I want every single one of us to come through this without ending up in the hospital or worse. That is the most important thing. Um, you know, I learned a long time ago that, because I was one of those teachers who thought that my job was the most important thing in my life, and I lived and breathed school. Um, I was there from 7:30 in the morning, 7:15 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night sometimes. And and when I look back on that and I think about it, I think about all the time I wasted with my oldest child, and it's regrettable. And what I've learned over the years is um, that it's a job. And if God forbid I died tomorrow, they'd have my job posted next week. But my family will be without a mother and a sister and a daughter and a wife. And I think that we have to all remember that. As professionals, we value our careers and we value our jobs, but keep your priorities in order and understand that it is not worth losing your mind over. Take a step back, take a deep breath, think about how to get through this, because we are all in uncharted territory now. And what I can guarantee you is that nobody's going to be disciplined for messing up in this time, because we're all feeling our way through it. And the goal is survival. The goal is to come out on the other side of this healthy and ready to go back and teach when we're able to go back and teach, and ready to go back and do our jobs when we're able to do that. There are lots of unknowns that I don't have the answers for, unfortunately. I don't think anybody does at this point. So I encourage you to take a step back, like I said. Some of the messages that I'm getting, some of y'all are stressing out entirely too much over this change. It's one of those things that is out of our control, and sometimes we just have to accept that, and we have to do the best we can under the circumstances, because there's bigger things to deal with at the moment. So be the professionals that I know you are. Take care of your students, take care of yourselves, take care of your families and your children. And we're going to all get through this together, somehow, some way. So I will see you again next Friday. Until then, I look forward to your continued emails and messages and posts and all the other ways you're communicating with me. And know that I am working hard, doing the best I can, and you do the same. Thanks, and have a good weekend.